Hello there. Welcome to Just the Discs. We talk about Blu-rays here. And for this episode, I am going to talk about some interesting Blu-ray box sets that came out this year. Now, the tricky part for me about box sets is that I haven't had enough time to really go through these thoroughly. Some of them I've gotten just recently, and so I haven't really gone too deep into them, but I can already tell that they are intriguing to me. And so as opposed to calling this like best box sets, I didn't think that was totally fair because, again, I haven't gone through these and can't fully vouch for them, but I know that I will be going through them and that I, at least initially, have been intrigued by them. There's a couple labels that I feel like really had strong showings in terms of box sets this year, and I'll start with, for me, personally, I think the strongest was Indicator. And I just got one of their most recent box sets, so this is one I haven't been able to go through yet, but I'm very excited about. This is the Criminal Acts of Todd Slaughter, 8 Blood and Thunder Entertainments from 1935 to 1940. Included here are Maria Martin, or The Murder in the Red Barn, Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street, The Crimes of Stephen, the Crimes of Stephen Hawke, It's Never Too Late to Mend, The Ticket of Leave Man, Sexton Blake and the Hooded Terror, The Face at the Window, and Crimes at the Dark House. So a bunch of Todd Slaughter's films. Now, who's Todd Slaughter, you might ask yourself, and I get that, but that's part of the thing I love about the Indicator box sets is that they're really taking you by the collar and saying, come over here and look at this really interesting group of films about, in some cases, filmmakers. I'll talk about some of those. In this case, an actor. The site says the terrifying talents of Newcastle's Norman Carter Todd Slaughter, the first true icon of British horror cinema, are showcased in this long overdue box set featuring the 8 films which Europe's Horror Man made in collaboration with British producer, writer, director George King. This comprehensive collection also includes a number of rare shorts and newsreel items. So they really go deep, again, on the films of this actor, who I was unaware of. He's obviously much more known in the UK, but it says, unlike his contemporaries such as Boris Karloff and Charles Laughton, Todd Slaughter never left his native shores. Instead, he chose to make his mark in Britain by transferring his most sensational theatrical performances to the screen. Portraying every kind of cruel and cunning criminal, from petty thief to mass murderer, he became the first great villain of British horror at a time before the grand guignol of Hammer films began to take hold, without once donning monster makeup. Criminally overlooked by film historians, only previously seen in compromised versions, these fascinating films have been newly restored using the original materials preserved at the BFI National Archive and are accompanied by an array of essential contextualizing extras, including archival short films and radio plays presented with the optional soundtracks by British music legends, Current 93, newly recorded commentaries, critical appreciations and personal recollections, and a 120-page book strictly limited to 6,000 individually numbered units, UK and US. So yeah, this is another one of these really nice, box sets from Indicator. It has the cardboard sleeves for each disc, and it has this very nice, thick, bound book, all to help give context for this actor that I'd never heard of until this set came out. So I really do love that Indicator does this. And yeah, these, have commentaries, sometimes multiple commentaries. Of course, Kim Newman and Stephen Jones are involved in some of these. And yeah, there's just a lot to dig in here, too. And it's 4 disc set, but each disc containing a plethora of not just films, sometimes shorts, commentaries. And yeah, so I'm just really excited about this set, just getting sort of a sense of who this guy is. And I love that Indicator goes all in on these box sets. You know, this is an actor that, like I said, not a lot of folks in the States are going to know, and yet they've taken the time to fully, create this wonderful set that I know I'm going to enjoy. So the UK's Boris Karloff, or whoever you want to compare him to, but regardless, a very compelling looking gentleman, and a lot of films that I've never seen. I've never seen any of these. So very, very excited about this set. So I find this an interesting box set. And then, of course, Indicator had like I said, a great year for box sets, starting with the Magic, Myth, and Mutilation micro-budget cinema of Michael J. Murphy set, which was supposed to come out late 2022, but ended up getting pushed to 2023. So I'm counting it for this, group here. And this set alone is another one that's just, I don't know, I really admire the dedication to going bold with a filmmaker that, again, a lot of people I don't think have heard of. Amongst overlooked filmmakers, British director Michael J. Murphy ranks as one of the most sorely neglected, having cut his teeth on a variety of homemade 8mm shorts. He had completed 3 feature-length productions by the age of 18. Over the next 5 decades, Murphy would go on to make many more films across a variety of genres, dividing his production time between Greece, Portugal, and the UK, with his family, friends, and local stage performers becoming his regular cast and crew in exchange for holidays in the sun. Despite this prolific output, a total of more than 30 completed films over a half-century, of which 26 survive, Murphy's work remains rarely seen and little championed, fitfully available on videotape and barely represented on DVD. This comprehensive, long-gestating 10-disc Blu-ray collection seeks to rectify that situation once and for all, boasting all new 2K restorations from archival 16mm and 8mm elements, as well as a number of new digital captures from Murphy's personal tape masters. This extensive retrospective of the obsessive auteur's work is bolstered by a wealth of bonus features, including surviving fragments from lost works and a 120-page book, all of which provides the definitive account of the weird and wonderful works of Britain's great unheralded DIY filmmaker. So yeah, this set is spectacular and huge. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cases with multiple discs in each one. You've got that book, and I've gotten a chance to look at a few of these films, and they are fascinating, low-budget efforts, and I am fully intrigued to want to check out more of Michael J. Murphy's stuff. So a really, really nice, horror genre box set from Indicator. I got a few more from Indicator here. We have the Mexico Macabra set. This is another one that's going specific, and I really like that. It includes the films Black Pit of Dr. M from 1959, Witch's Mirror from 1961, The Brainiac from 62, and The Curse of the Crying Woman from 63. So these 4 macabre titles from the vaults of one of Mexico's best-known film companies offer uniquely Mexican takes on the ghosts, witches, and monsters familiar to fans of horror cinema and fiction. Fernando Mendez, Black Pit of Dr. M, sees a doctor make a pact with his dying colleague in order to learn secrets of the afterlife. In Chano Ureta's The Witch's Mirror, a murderer is tormented by the ghost of his dead wife, whilst in Ureta's The Brainiac, a nobleman executed for necromancy returns in a diabolical form to eradicate the lineage of his killers by sucking out their brains. That's a fascinating one, by the way. Finally, Rafael Baldon's The Curse of the Crying Woman. A young bride visits her Gothic mansion where she finds she is the descendant of one of Mexican folklore's most terrifying figures. With their star-studded cast, beautiful photography, eerie production design, and bone-chilling atmosphere, these films have terrified audiences for decades and are now available in this strictly limited, individually numbered Blu-ray box set, which includes an array of new features, including 4 new audio commentaries, a rare English-language dub tracks, as well as a set of art cards and a fully illustrated 100-page book. So again, this is the kind of box set that comes in the cardboard sleeves, but has a nice book. I always love their box sets. They are really nice matte finish sets, and this is a set that I've heard a lot of people are pleased with, and I haven't gone fully into it, but what I have seen I have enjoyed, and I plan to dig deeper into this one as well. So that's another really nice set from Indicator. And closing out the Indicator section of this episode, we have another one from them called From Hollywood to Heaven, the Lost and Saved Films of the Ormond Family. And this is another thing where I'm like, what is this about? I have no clue. Presented by Nicholas Winding Refn, From Hollywood to Heaven tells the extraordinary story of a truly unique American filmmaking family. For almost half a century, June, Ron, and Tim Ormond, a Nashville mother, father, son trio, cranked out a wild bunch of movies from Lash LaRue westerns to the stripper gore music outrage, the exotic ones, and plunged into every area of show business. What's more, they did it all on a shoestring, totally independently, with no studio to back them. At the height of their frenzied career, Ron and June experienced a spiritual awakening when their private plane crashed on the way to a premiere. From then on, they turned their back on secular show business to produce a series of shocking, surreal religious pictures, including an unbelievable trio of films from Mississippi Baptist preacher Estes Perkle, films such as The Burning Hell, which made millions despite never being shown in an actual movie theater. Produced by Powerhouse Films in association with by NWR and released to coincide with Fab Press's publication of forensic biographer Jimmy McDonough's awe-inspiring tome on the extraordinary life and work of the Ormond family. This strictly limited, individually numbered Blu-ray box set contains 13 features, a host of new and archival extra features, including 5 new audio commentaries and a collection of rarely seen short films, as well as a set of art cards, fully illustrated 100-page book, newly written by McDonough. So you have your book and all your discs in the cardboard sleeves. But again, this is another, filmmaking family, independent, I had no clue about, none whatsoever. And so I am fully curious and excited to dig more into these in 2024. But what a round of box sets from Indicator. Just so much good stuff. Moving on to another one of the heavyweights, always, every year, in box sets. And I have to add a caveat that I don't have the Black Emanuel set handy. It's been loaned out, but that is a recommended set as well. I know that that's one that folks are really, really excited about and should have been part of this video. But I will go through some other Severin film sets. We'll start with the Dance Macabra Volume 1, the Italian Gothic collection. And this is they're already working on a Volume 2 of this, but it's a pretty cool set. Italian Gothic films here. In a genre known for its castles, crypts, and candelabras, Italian Gothic also embraced themes of violence, madness, and sexual deviance. With these 4 films, those impulses dare to go even deeper. In 1964's The Monster of the Opera, director Renato Polselli and screenwriter Ernesto Gastaldi craft a surreal erotic shocker set within a contemporary dance troupe. Perhaps the genre's rarest film, the berserk supernatural narrative of 1965's The Seventh Grave, also makes it among the strangest. For 1970's Scream of the Demon Lover, director Jose Luis Marino gathers classic traditions, then strips them naked and ties them to a torture rack. And 1971's Lady Frankenstein delivers iconic Eurocult talent on both sides of the camera for one of the most luridly entertaining shockers of the decade. The films in this collection are now fully restored from their original negatives with 12 plus hours collected of bonus features. So really went all out, and this is a really nice set with each individual disc here in its own case, which is nice and, not cheap to do. And I love that Severin's willing to go the extra mile with their box sets. They really do a heck of a job. So this one is one I'll be very curious to go digging into in the next year or so. And then this one I just got, so I haven't really had a chance to do much, but I'm still very intrigued by it. This is Cushing Curiosities, and it's a group of films, obviously all starring the late, great Peter Cushing. And it's from Hammer Films to Star Wars. He remains one of genre's best-loved actors. Now celebrates 6 of the most unexpected, rarely seen, and decidedly curious performances from the legendary Peter Cushing. Cushing delivers a rare villain turn in the 1960 aviation thriller Cone of Silence. That same year, Cushing brought gentle dignity to the Bolting brothers' Cold War drama Suspect. In 1962, The Man Who Finally Died, Cushing co-stars opposite Stanley Baker as a former Nazi hiding a grave post-war secret. And then Cushing returns to his iconic role of Sherlock Holmes in these 6 surviving episodes of the 1968 BBC TV series. So we get a group of 6 Sherlock Holmes episodes. So that's cool. Not even a movie, just another some TV series with him playing Sherlock, which is great. The Offline 1971 shocker Bloodsuckers can now be reassessed for the first time in its restored extended version. So I like that they're bringing back a film that doesn't have apparently a great reputation, but now presenting it in a restored extended version, which could be better than perhaps the previous versions that were available that the film has been judged on. And Cushing portrays a vampire for the first and only time in 1974's off-the-wall erotic comedy Tender Dracula, premiering here on its director's cut. Each disc has been mastered from the original Vault Elements with over 16 total hours of trailers, commentaries, vintage interviews, location features, and more, plus a 200-page book, Peter Cushing, A Portrait and 6 Sketches by award-winning horror film historian Jonathan Rigby. So another really beautiful set here. You have, of course, the book, which is like truly thick, epic, bound book, matte color photos. Just, I mean, this is an actual book, you know, like not a collection of essays, which I have no problem with either. So Cone of Silence, again. Suspect. This is the Sherlock Holmes episodes. Very cool. Bloodsuckers, which may be the first one I watch. I'm weirdly curious about its much maligned history. And then Tender Dracula, which looks very interesting. Erotic comedy. So that's good stuff. I'm like I said, this is an intriguing set to me, and one that I think could be good for discoveries, because a lot of these films, it sounds like, haven't been available or not available in these versions prior, so that's very exciting. Okay, here's a new one that I got that I know a lot of people were excited about, and there's a lot to take in. I don't know if I can really get through that much of it because there's so much here, but this is the Vinegar Syndrome Lost Picture Show box set. This is pretty crazy. We are proud to present our most ambitious, audacious, and all-around home video first. In honor of 10 years of Vinegar Syndrome, we proudly present Vinegar Syndrome's Lost Picture Show, a 10-film collection of long thought lost American genre films, all restored from their best-known and surviving elements. This wide-ranging collection covers genres from exploitation to horror to, quote, kids films to underground vanity projects, and a couple of movies so weird they defy description. Included are Oliver Drake's forgotten proto-slasher, The Las Vegas Strangler, a.k.a. No Tears for the Damned. I know my friend Bill Ackerman is one on the commentary for that. Very excited to check that out. Larry Crane's murder mystery / nudie, Beware the Black Widow. Joe Sarno's stirring seaside drama, Deep Inside. Very excited to have another Joe Sarno movie on Blu-ray. I'm a big fan of his work. Albert Zugsmith's notorious bad taste thriller, Violated. Zugsmith is a fascinating figure in 50s cinema and prior and beyond. Walter Burns' underground sexual freakout, Barbara. James Newslow's nuclear Holocaust scare film, Red Midnight, which I've heard some people praising. Titus Mode's Ode to Forgotten Americana, The Last of the American Hobos. Carlos Tobalina's erotic morality tale, What's Love. Charles Nizet's Sex and Gore Frenzy, The Sex Serum of Dr. Blake. The original cut of Voodoo Heartbeat. And finally, Don Greer's jaw-dropping and unnerving kiddie film and musical, The Rare Blue Apes of Cannibal Isle, a.k.a. The Pirates of Cannibal Isle. Very curious about that one, too. What's more is that this release includes Elijah Drenner's brand new feature-length documentary Against the Grain, which examines how genre film-focused home video companies have taken the charge in preserving, restoring, and releasing so many works which otherwise might have been lost to time. This massive collection also comes with complete with 2 thick, fully illustrated, perfect bound books of newly written essays and historical analysis covering each of the included films. Yeah, this is pretty epic, and it's a cool magnetic double seal. So you open it up, and then it folds out into this crazy, I can't even turn it around kind of thing. But each of it's got the little books in here. Ooh. And then the sets, each disc contains, 1, 2, 3, I think 3 discs. So you have Barbara, Las Vegas Strangler, Last American Hobos, Voodoo's Heartbeat, and What's Love, all on this first round. And then we have another book, and Beware the Black Widow, Deep Inside, Rare Blue Apes, Red Midnight, and Violated on this one. I have never seen any of these films, and I'd only heard of a couple of the filmmakers. So, I mean, this really feels like a truly, ripe for discovery in terms of films that nobody's been talking about kind of set. And where to start? That's a very good question. It may be either Rare Apes for me or Red Midnight. Las Vegas Strangler is definitely another one I want to check out. And of course, the Sarno set, or the Sarno film, is new to me, so very curious to see what he did with that. A beachside drama, as I understand it. But yeah, just a really incredibly nicely made set. And then, of course, you get Against the Grain, the new Elijah Drenner doc. I'm a big Elijah Drenner fan, and I did get a chance to look at that doc, and I was absolutely digging that. So very cool stuff. They're interviewing folks from not just Vinegar Syndrome, but other labels, talking about, preservation and restoration and how important it is. And this is that kind of set where these films are going to be gone, just not even known about if not for this set. So that's a pretty sweet way to close out the year from Vinegar Syndrome. And last but definitely not least, I haven't talked about it on the channel yet, but this big old Enter the Video Store Arrow video box set, which I think this is, it just hasn't sold out yet. Tricky thing about this one is that all these films were, I think, available previously, but a lot of them had gone out of print, to be fair. But I think a lot of them have been remastered for this set. So, their description on the site says, remember the shelves of your local video store. Those days aren't gone. Reject reality and substitute your own with Arrow Video. In 1983, entrepreneurial producer and director Charles Band founded Empire International Pictures, which would go on to make some of the most memorable and beloved genre movies of the 1980s. Empire became a mainstay of video stores across the world with their catchy titles, outlandish art, and Band's wholehearted belief in giving audiences a good time. So you have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 discs. And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different films included here. In Dungeon Master, a.k.a. Rage War, computer programmer Paul Bradford is sucked into a fantasy world by Mastema, a demonic sorcerer in search of a worthy opponent. Meanwhile, fresh from the 1-2 punch of Reanimator and From Beyond, director Stuart Gordon takes a turn toward fairy tale Gothic in Dolls, in which a group of strangers find themselves forced to seek shelter in an isolated home of an old toy maker and his wife, only to find the puppets and dolls have a vicious life of their own. In Cellar Dweller, a comic book artist, Jeff Combs, with a penchant for the macabre, takes inspiration from an ancient tome and unleashes an ancient evil. Arena presents the ultimate fight night event, Man vs. Monster. In Future of 4038, a short order cook becomes the first human in 50 years to compete in an intergalactic boxing event on the far side of the universe. Finally, in Robot Jocks, Stuart Gordon directs Empire Pictures' most ambitious movie yet, as men and women pilot giant machines in gladiatorial battle to settle international disputes over territory. Restored for the digital era with a wealth of extras, these films have never looked better. No need for a time machine. These golden age video classics will send you back to the 80s. 2K restorations by Arrow Films and from the best available materials. 1080p presentation of all films. Reversible artwork. Commentaries. All kinds of nice stuff in this set. I mean, I know you guys have seen videos with this one, so I don't really need to go through it all, but it's cool that it breaks down. You can take them all out if you want and put them on the shelf. Your Dungeon Master, your Dolls, Cellar Dweller, Arena, Robot Jocks, I like that new art, and then this sort of aerial video magazine book, bound book, really nice, with interviews and essays and stuff about each movie. So that's a pretty fantastic set, I gotta say. Pretty cool concept to do the Empire Pictures box. And as I said, even though these have been available, most of them, I believe, if not all, these are new versions and better versions than previous, now with extras and lots of cool stuff. So it was hard not to include this set, even though I haven't fully gone through it. It's got to be one that, is part of the best of the year for sure. So anyway, that will do it for this interesting box sets episode. Hopefully there's, something here that maybe you missed during the year, or something you are being reminded to check out because it's in, one of these sets. There's so many movies here between all these sets that it's actually a ton of stuff to go through. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.